See, the problem is it's easy to announce a lockdown, but it's very difficult to lift it politically. And this is, I must have read many articles from different countries, from Australia, from Germany, England, US, and most of the people have written the same thing, that it's very easy because then you build sentiments of the masses around it in such a way. The fear psychosis has gone so deep into your bloodstream that people are scared that if lockdown हट गया तो हम मर जाएंगे. And ये middle class, जो the salaried people actually mostly, they get very scared. But the person who is anyways interacting with hundreds of people in a shop or in a small business or a freelancer or people like that, they have a problem because they are not on salary. And now that they are also not very vocal because they are stressed somewhere else. The person who is vocal is somebody who's getting good salary in IT industry, is sitting at home on one TV as a Netflix, and he's just on a keyboard. He's saying, "No, lockdown should not go." I have been raising this issue, and even my supporters have been trolling. Not trolling, I would say, have been critical of me. That why are you talking about this? Okay, cinema should shut down. Small businesses. What is more important, health or life or business? This argument I wanted to discuss with you, because you are an entrepreneur yourself, you deal with people, workers, everything, and you understand all that. This argument, how what is the merit and demerit of this argument that life is more important than economy?
Yeah, see, I have never understood this argument at all, right? So it's not like I don't believe lives matter, but policy decisions are not made like that. So I'll give you an example. I don't know how else to say this, but some things just have to be proven through data, right? Let's say let's pick up this particular issue from, let's say, COVID. So there seems to be a lot of debate around the world now, and I'll come to the point why policy matters and how and why people should think. Look, people should be thinking purely from a numbers perspective. So I'll just share the screen to make my point. If you could bring it up, so, people need to understand what is happening here.
Should I
Like,
put it on?
for example, so let's take the school issue, for example. So I talked about why schools should open up. I think schools should open up, and this is the reason. So this is basically a chart this is COVID data for the last 52 weeks ending on April 10th, 2021. By the way, this is a New York Times chart. So ये भी नहीं बोल सकते हो मैंने किसी anti vaxxer, anti this, anti that site से लिया है. So as per this chart, what does it say? Kids from the age of 1 to 14 are more likely to die from drowning, car accidents, cancer, and the flu than they are from COVID. Now, this is the data. Now, here's the problem. Now, I'll take the screen off. So, I just shared this for an example. Now, this
But
is the
argument
reality.
the argument can be that is for last 12 months, which means anyway children were not going to school, they were not intermingling, and they were at home. That's why they did not die of COVID. That can be
Yeah,
the
but you can't have it both ways, right? On one side, they say we can't send them to school, but then you have like zero prevalence surveys done in city of Mumbai, where they did a proper detailed survey of 24 wards in Mumbai, and they found out that 51% of the kids in Mumbai anyways have COVID antibodies. So even if we assume that 10 to 15% of that number is wrong, so we reduce it by 5% or 6%, but still it comes down to 40 to 45% of children, even after sending them back at home, do not allowing them to come and go to schools, they still got COVID. And and then you can look at the death statistics, by where at least in Mumbai, more than 95% or 96% of the deaths are in that category, which is basically 45 and above. And in that also, most of the people who have unfortunately passed away have around 1.8 comorbidities, so like at least two comorbidities. So the
Hmm.
point again is that this argument, right, is irrational. It's based on zero COVID. Look, why is this obsession with zero COVID is my question. Are we then saying that only zero COVID matters, but zero drowning doesn't matter, zero car accidents don't matter, or zero cancer doesn't matter, or zero flu doesn't matter? I don't understand. And then somebody will, but this is transmissible. Arey Baba, what is this argument? You have to look at the end of the day. We need to look at the mortality data. And the biggest important point over here, Vivek, is not just this chart. Policy making is not about appealing to emotions. See, the biggest tragedy in India is people only look at first order effects when they decide a policy. See,
Yeah.
policy is making about second order effects or third order effects. Now, I just shared a beautiful piece from the Indian Express today, written by Sujata Rao,
Yeah.
where she raised a lot of points about what is happening. Uh, you know, in the because of the shutdown of schools. So she just said in January, the Azim Premji Foundation undertook a study of 16,067 primary class children in 1,137 schools spread over 44 districts in 5 states. The purpose of the study was to assess the forgetting regression kind of learning loss among children with regards to language and math. Since these are what are referred to as foundational abilities, loss could imply serious consequences for the future. The results of this study showed that 92% and 82% children lost one or more of the abilities that constitute language and math learning, respectively. Put simply, they had forgotten how to speak or write, add, or multiply. Now you have this obsession of COVID panic. You made this decision, you shut schools down. Again, इसमें कितनी बड़ी upper middle class privilege आती है, Vivek? Just think about it. How many schools in India can
Yeah.
afford e-learning? Not even 10%. ठीक
Or
है?
the skill. They don't have skill for e-learning, you know.
Yeah.
So
और बच्चे को आप कितना स्क्रीन पे पढ़ाना चाहते हो वो भी सोचना चाहिए. So you do
Mm.
this, you are basically, I don't know how else to put it, Vivek, but you are creating an army of dummies. You are nothing. You're doing nothing.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, see, you said they forget their skill, maths, English. I'm saying they also de-learn common sense.
Yeah.
When you're not interacting outside socially, you don't know, and you are just playing in your small complexes, and you have no interaction with the world, and there is fear psychosis. Then you are losing common sense, and we are creating a society of stupid people. I'm sorry, it's a harsh word, but that's how it is. Because all your policies are also decided by what media is going to say tonight. You know, so what's going to happen on prime time, what's going to trend, what's going to happen on Twitter. This is such a fleeting information which creates so much of hype around it, that policy. Don't you think in Maharashtra this is the reason that the chief minister is not opening up the market, though it's the
Oh,
most important.
absolutely.
See, if Bombay
Absolutely.
will have to lead, Bombay opens up, India opens up.
Yeah. And it has been, I don't know how else to say this, but I am shocked at the decision making of the Maharashtra government when it comes to lockdowns and its policies. I mean, whether it was the night curfews, as in 9 बजे के बाद, कोरोना नहीं हो गया, शहंशाह है, वो सिर्फ अंधेरी रातों में निकलता है, शहंशाह है, अमिताभ बच्चन है, वही कोरोना है, वो सिर्फ रात को निकलता है और चुभता है, और यहाँ तो आजकल ये 4 बजे में हो गया, मतलब वो दोपहर का शहंशाह हो गया, वो 4 बज के 1 मिनट होते हैं तो कोरोना जागृत हो जाता है. फिर बसों में लोगों को जाने दो, वैक्सीन है कि नहीं है, वहां पे कोरोना नहीं होता, मगर ट्रेन में नहीं जाने देंगे, वहां पे सडनली कोरोना हो जाता है. कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. सी, policies are not based on science, right? Policies are based on knee-jerk reaction, where the politician wants to show, and look, this is not a particular way about one government. We are using Maharashtra government, at least I am, because I live in this state here. I am suffering because of the state's policies. If I was in another state and it was maybe governed by BJP and they were doing the same policies, my stand would remain the same. Like right now, UP has a weekend lockdown. I'm laughing my ass off here because weekend में corona होता है क्या? I don't understand. Monday to Friday नहीं, मगर weekend में corona होता है. The point is, we have come to a point where, Vivek, politicians are not doing this thing because they want to control COVID. They are doing this thing because they have to signal to the people, especially the people who are, see, politicians are no longer poor. Let's just get very clear. So they also hang around now upper middle class and above people most of the time. Let's just be brutally honest. So, this is a very secured Indian upper middle class and above fear. मेरा बच्चा तो इंटरनेट पे बैठ सकता है ना, मैं तो वर्क फ्रॉम होम कर सकता हूं ना, तो अरे बाबा 88% ऑफ इंडियन किड्स गो टू स्कूल्स दैट डोंट हैव दीस फैसिलिटीज, एटलीस्ट 80%. और ये छोड़ो, जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट, विवेक. One of the major successes of India was the midday meal program. Because schools are shut, the midday meal program is not getting executed in a proper way. Just think about the nutritional impact on millions of kids in India because the midday meal program right now is not getting executed. अब मेरे को एक बात बताओ, आप तो बॉम्बे में रहते हो, जो ये लोग प्रो लॉकडाउन है, या दिल्ली में रहते हो, या चेन्नई में रहते हो, या कोई भी tier 1 tier 2 सिटी में रहते हो, it
Absolutely.
is an absolute shocker that, I mean, what are you doing? You are destroying lives of children. You are not giving them nutrition. You are not giving them education. You are basically creating an army of, you know, ill-equipped kids who are going to go into the job market, and they will have zero skills. And then the kind of impact it will have on the overall quality product generation of the country, we're destroying ourselves. यार क्या कर रहे हैं समझ में नहीं आता.